Hello, everyone. Coming up, Disney has started to streamline their stroller policy on parking structure trams. Fun stuff there for you. The Avengers VR experience will finally be coming to the void in downtown Disney. Plus, Rhino and I are going to talk about our wonderfully romantic stay at the Springhill Anaheim Resort Convention Center Hotel when we were just at Disneyland. So we have all of that and more coming up. From the Bob Varley studio and points around California, this is the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is episode 785, the Diz Unplugged Disneyland edition. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com, experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation. Visit them on the web at www.DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com. And also by Disboards.com. Join over 1 million Disney fans discussing their Disney vacation, the latest news, rumors, and so much more. Visit Disboards.com and join the discussion today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Disneyland Edition. I'm your host, Craig Williams. Today, I am joined alongside by my co-host, Rhino.
Hello.
Okay. You forgot your name for a second, clearly.
What?
Rhino.
Yeah, but you didn't finish. You usually say blah, blah, blah,
I am adhering to your wants and needs that you either want to be Ryan Clavin or you want to be Rhino.
Like Cher.
So you only want
Rhino.
One or the other. Today I gave you a Rhino. And that's it. So, and then also we are joined by Corey Fiascanaro.
Hey, guys.
Hey. And then from Fresno, California, Tom Bell.
Hello, everyone.
And then, of course, the undisclosed beachfront location next to a highway somewhere approximately 20 minutes-ish based on traffic away from Disneyland. We have Morgan Lamone.
Hi.
Hello.
Each week it's going to be a little bit more and more.
A little bit more. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just a little bit more and more until you don't live there anymore. And then we'll really pull the cat out of the bag on that one. So, hey, everyone. Welcome to this week's show. Is that an expression, Rhino?
It's let the cat out of the bag, but we can yank it out of it.
We're going to yank the cat out of the bag. Pull that
it right on out.
Yeah, we'll get that out of there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. We have a fun one for you. Like I said, later on in the show, we're going to talk about our experience staying at the Springhill Suites. Though there's, I believe, 2 of them in the general vicinity of the Disneyland area-ish, give or take. One of them, I believe, is the main gate, but we did not stay at that one. We stayed at the one that is the Anaheim Resort / Convention Center one. So we're not going to get into the details of all of that location and everything, but we will be talking about that in just a little bit. But before we get there, we have to talk about our news and updates that we have. And I apologize that the news isn't a little bit meteor. So not meteor as in coming from the sky, but meteor is in a big juicy T-bone.
That would be news. Yes.
Yeah. Disneyland hit by meteor.
Oh, geez,
so no, we just have a little bit of news here for you. So we are going to kick it off. And should I randomly assign people to read the news? Should I? Okay, then first story up, we are going to talk about Disneyland Resort streamlining their stroller process on parking structure trams. Tom Bell, why don't you give us the scoop on that?
Okay, so they're actually just kind of enforcing a policy that they've had. The policy was you had to fold your strollers to get on the tram. This is at the Mickey and Friends and Pixar Palace parking structure. However, there were 2 rows on the tram front and back where you could really put your stroller on unfolded, and they let you do that. Well, this weekend they were starting to hand out flyers. Starting this week, the official policy is strollers must be folded prior to boarding the tram. So they're going to save those spaces for ECVs and things like that. So they're finally enforcing fully the all strollers must be folded to get on the tram. Now that the walkway is open between the parking structure and downtown Disney, you can walk. If you want to keep your stroller unfolded, you can walk to the resort using the new walkway over the street. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have a general rule that applies to everyone now, rather than have that couple, kind of. Well, we can make an exception for a couple people, but not everyone. So
right, yeah, for those in the know that you can go to those rows, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, too, it's one of those things that everyone should have to do it anyway. So it's just hopefully it doesn't slow down the tram process. I mean, I guess by not folding it, that could also slow down the process a little bit. But I think about how many people I see just like loading up their strollers with all the bags they own and every possible thing they can. So
and then having to unload that and fold it. Yeah, it could be hit or miss. Probably a safety issue too, because even if you leave the stroller unfolded, you still had to take the kid out of the stroller. And so then cast members are having to make sure there's not a child in the unfolded stroller, and it's an extra level of safety concerns.
Yeah, no, that is.
Now that I think this is like a known thing, or just like they're really forcing the rule, I feel it'll make the tram will go a lot faster, because there aren't those parents that are like, oh, I didn't know I had to fold my stroller, and then that takes a whole nother 2 to 5 minutes depending on how big their stroller is, and then waking their kid up and stuff. It's like if you already know ahead of time, then you're already ready to go, and it's faster.
Now, have either of you yet done the walk on the walkway from the parking garages? How is it?
It's a really nice walk. The bridge is really nice, and then it's a really good slow incline. So like if you're in a wheelchair, you're not just going to be like barreling down the thing. But it's actually really nice and enjoyable, I think.
That's good to hear. So I always enjoy a good walkway. We've talked about it on this show and others. I prefer walking when at all possible. So I can go at my pace then. Sometimes I like playing the game of, can I beat the tram that's currently there, and see like, am I going to be faster? Was this worth my time? Or at the end of the day, if it beats me, then I'm like, well, at least I'm healthier because of it now.
And sometimes, like, even if the tram beats me, I don't really care. I do the same thing you do. The exact same thing. But even if the tram beats me and I see it beat me, I'm just like, I really don't care, because it's something about sitting there and just waiting for everybody to board and give the warning and then, say, okay, here's a few exceptions. I would rather just spend that time walking, because it feels less long, even though it might not be.
There's nothing quite as annoying as long waiting for absolutely nothing. I mean, besides a nice, easy, gentle ride back to your vehicle at the end of the night or middle of the day or whenever you're deciding. When you realize you forgot something in your car first thing in the morning, all those fun scenarios. So
you have to go take your selfie stick back to the car.
Yeah. Do people still use those? They shouldn't. They really shouldn't. But yeah, so
I saw one this weekend where they had to like send them back to put their selfie stick back in their hotel room or something.
Jeez, what year is it? 2017? Am I right? So that's be aware, as Tom said. Now all strollers must be folded prior. So let's move on to our next story. A fun one. Already teased it once for you in this episode. Avengers coming to the Void in downtown Disney. Rhino as our resident lover of the Void. Why don't we go over this?
I do actually really enjoy the Void, although I have not done the Wreck-It Ralph experience. I've only done the Star Wars one. I did that a few times, but so there is a new one coming only to downtown Disney as of right now. I don't think we're going to see this in Walt Disney World, but there is an Avengers-themed virtual reality experience coming to the Void called Avengers Damage Control. So in this is going to begin October 18th, so just a little over a week away. It's going to let fans step into the MCU for the first time, and guests are going to help Shuri test her latest prototype, which are emergency response suits that are a blend of Wakandan and Stark Industries technologies. During the test, evil forces intervene, and guests find themselves fighting alongside Doctor Strange, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and more. So Kevin Feige, president of Marvel Studios, said, "We're always looking for new stories and corners of the universe for our characters to explore. Now, after more than a decade of amazing support, we are excited to give fans the same opportunity to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Expanding how people can experience the MCU is something we're always trying to do, and in Avengers Damage Control, we wanted to give fans the chance to suit up alongside some of their favorite heroes for the first time ever. The virtual reality experience includes real-world sets and physical effects like heat and wind, letting guests feel and touch the virtual world. And this limited run of Avengers Damage Control is expected to continue through at least November 21st. Tickets are already on sale at The Void and start at $39.95 per person. There is a teaser trailer that you can watch that's pretty cool.
It doesn't give away too much at all.
Yeah,
Nothing really.
It's basically just like isn't Shuri just
Shuri makes she makes a pop up there, and then it shows off the suits,
which is going to be interesting. So if you've done the Star Wars experience there, it's like you wear this thing on your body, just like a kind of a suit or a backpack sort of a thing. So when you get hit by, like, shot by one of the stormtroopers, you can kind of feel it pulsing on you wherever it may be. Now, since this is like an Iron Man suit, I'm wondering if you're going to have things on your hands, like that you wear on your wrist, to be able to like shoot out the repulsor blast or something like that. Would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that. So we have a friend who actually works for the division that the Void falls under at Lucasfilm, and so that person has done a lot with. I don't want to give away their any information just in case Lucasfilm's watching, and but she did. No, I just said she. So there I go. Anyway,
or he.
He or she didn't give us any teasers on what's to come with it. Just like, oh yeah, that happened, and we're busy working on the stuff with Oculus, the Vader Immortals, and like they're doing that. Division is doing so much right now, but I think it's awesome that the Avengers are getting brought into this realm. This seems like with what the Void technology is in virtual reality, it seems like it fits in perfect with the Marvel.
Oh yeah, and especially
100%.
I feel like especially coming from the perspective of it being like a Wakandan and it's dark technology, I feel like that ties in really well, and and then having the PIMs in there too. But it's interesting to me that it's only 4 weeks. It seems weird. It seems like, why would they limit it to that? And I'm wondering if there's going to be a new Star Wars experience to coincide with Rise of Skywalker. But then at the same time, why not just wait and debut this afterwards then? So
yeah, I don't. That is the interesting part of it. Maybe it really is just a test bed to see. Maybe we should keep this around longer. Maybe if we do know we have another Star Wars experience coming down the road, maybe we lose Star Wars for more of an extended point in time and keep this around. I don't know what the thought process is in terms of only keeping it around for such a short time, but that means it's also probably going to be insanely popular and busy while it is having a shorter time period there. But at the same time, $39.95 per person is a very steep cost, especially if it's the same length of the experience as the other ones. I know it's not that much higher than
$10 more though. That's a lot for something that lasts like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I balk at that price. I can't imagine myself dishing out $40 for any short experience like that.
I thought the Star Wars one was definitely worth the $30 because it was something very cool. I had not. I was worried about feeling motion sickness because that's my experience with any sort of like PlayStation VR or anything like that. I get nauseous on it, but this was just like next level and I felt fine. And I was like, oh, great. So when I was treated to an experience for free at Disney and then I liked it so much, I went back and paid to do it again. So, but like, yeah, $40 though. And I love Avengers. Like, this might have to be somewhere I'd be like, get it for me for Christmas, but also I'm not going to be out there for those 4 weeks to try this. It's just going to be kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I get that sorry, I'll let you talk in 1 second, Morgan. I was just going to say, I know it's two complete different things, but I look at it on the same idea as kind of like escape rooms, and that a lot of escape rooms are still priced right around that $20 to $25 for the experience.
But you have like
some
an hour
up to 30.
that, right?
But yeah, you have technically up to an hour, and I mean, there is a realism, and not all escape rooms are done the same level. I've done ones where I'm like, they put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into crafting these rooms, and then I've been in other ones where it's like they basically threw out a printed sheet of paper on the table and threw like 4 keys around the room and said, go find them, and it complete different experience on that. But there is a level of technology in it, but I just feel like, I don't know. For me personally, it's out of my range to spend it on, but I'm not going to judge anyone who does.
If it was 30 solid minutes, I would maybe be like, okay, I could see doing that. If it was similar to that Star Wars experience, the fact that this is probably going to be 4 times an hour, that's a lot.
But Morgan, what did you have to say about it?
When I did the Star Wars one, I loved it, but I was like, I wish it was a little bit longer, like you said, around 30 minutes. My only worry because I didn't do the Wreck-It Ralph one, I wonder if the physical sets are going to be the same as the Star Wars one, because if so, I feel like a really big disappointment, and then I'd feel like crap for spending $40. But if it's like a completely different physical sets than that, then I feel like, okay, this is a new experience entirely, not just new VR in it. So that's what I'm worried about.
That's a good point. Like, if it's just going to be an overlay, because like that Star Wars part where you walk over the bridge in Mustafar and it's like the heat, you can feel the heat and stuff. And what if you're just like in your Iron Man suit walking over that and you can feel the heat or something? Like, are they going to construct and add more stuff? It vibrates
a little bit.
Yeah. So that's a really good point. Because if you've done that one more than once, I think you'll remember, like, okay, I know I can touch R2-D2 right here. I know I'm going to pick this thing up off the wall here, but it would be nice to really change it up. I also feel like it could use a little bit more, like a smidge more interactivity. Like, it's very interactive, but I'd like to see like a better keeping of score or something like that.
So that's my thought on it. I think the Void is awesome. I've done it once. I've done the Star Wars one. But if they made it more like a game where there was a competitive nature to it, and also maybe, like, I understand the process of like all these guests who come and go to this experience, they want to just experience the whole thing, so everybody kind of wins in a way. But if they maybe had one side where it was, okay, just go through the whole thing and you're always going to win, and then another side where it was like, this is the hard mode, where like we keep track of score.
You're a repeat visitor,
and you could actually win or lose.
My friend did a Void experience not at a Disney park, did one in New York, and there was a Ghostbusters one apparently, which sounds amazing. And he said, in his group, they had 2 different experiences that one of them lost the game, and I was like, oh, really? I don't know if they just misinterpreted the situation, if it is a situation like that, but I do wonder if Disney keeps it on that spin where it's like you could always win, like how Smugglers Run, you kind of always finish, and it's like, it's not like I want to lose, but I want to know. I want to feel that aspect that this is worth doing again, like pull me back into this, and that you didn't just like carry me along. Like, if it's supposed to be this full world of interactivity where my choices have consequences, I feel like the Void is the first place where they can really do that. And maybe they're afraid because, if somebody loses, they'll be like, I hate this, and I hate you, Disney, and I'm not coming back.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I wasn't inputting
listening
on the end there.
all.
No, I was listening.
Jeez.
I was trying to see if I was trying to get extra information there on the Ghostbusters one and what it was, and I found a article from Medium that they were kind of a little bit harsher on the Star Wars one
than the Ghostbusters one.
Yeah,
interesting.
But I can't find if there's any parts on here about the.
Well, I'm wondering, you're saying they were harsher on it. I'm wondering if Disney's, one of the requirements is kind of like what you already said about making it more family friendly and kind of like, I get that everybody wants to play here, and Disney is a place for everyone too, but sometimes not every experience has to be for every single individual.
And also, like, I just had an idea pop off in my head, and if Disney likes to make money, and if they want to make money,
do they?
Oh yeah, they really do. But if they want people to come back again and again and again, had that hard mode side where you can actually rack up points, and then based on how good you do, you get like a digital currency that you can spend on digital items that next time you come back, make your experience different.
I believe that's called video games in the comfort of your own house. So
I want to walk in the video game. I want to be Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, I don't need to. I put on my PlayStation VR long enough to realize that I am rather fine just looking at a screen rather than being in an actual world.
That makes me throw up. I can't do it. I got to move around and walk around and feel the heat. I need that heat.
Yeah, that's fine for you. I think why would you screw up something that's already perfect? I don't want to live in a world of Ready Player One. Worked out so well for them.
See, I remember back in 2000 and whatever when PlayStation 2 was the relevant thing, being like, these graphics are unbeatable. But then, times change.
Well, and that's the thing too. You go into the void and you're like, oh, these are pretty good, and you're still like, clearly I'm not a human being in here though. When you look at your hands and they keep being like, burr, 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 like you're like, well, this one arm's a little wonky.
It's just cool. It's cool to see technology change. I remember, 5 years ago in this job where everything really was like, okay, we have to start investing in 360 cameras because soon everyone is going to own a VR device, Oculus, whatever it is, and they're going to want to sit and watch all these videos in 360. And while there have been some people who have really stuck fast to it and really pushed, like, oh, you have to watch these in 360 and see all the way around, it's more of just like a little kitschy extra that you can have more than anything else. Sometimes
my favorite is watching you while you're recording it. So like, because the 360 camera gets everywhere, you can watch Craig sitting on the bench, like under it.
Yeah,
and he's always like.
No, there was one time I was legitimately I was sitting under my tallest tripod and huddled down.
And you could just see the top of his head like sitting there, not moving.
Never worked. But okay, that's it for the void. We'll have to see if someone from this group goes and does it. I doubt it, but maybe. Stranger things have happened. Am I right? So with that, we will move on to Morgan's updates that she has. Tom, feel free to jump in too, because you were in the theme parks this weekend, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's go for a ride.
Yeah.
Tom, do you want to go first? Or?
No, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So just to give a little more information about the Maleficent trailer at the Sunset Showcase Theater, Mickey's PhilharMagic is playing all morning till about 5 p.m. and then it closes for an hour, and then at 6, that's when the Maleficent premiere starts. So I thought it was all day, and so I went, and they're like, "Oh no, it's Mickey's PhilharMagic." So just to give a little more details about that.
I love how they're able to change the whole marquee to change from. It's all digital now, so you can change it from Mickey's PhilharMagic to Maleficent.
Yeah, it makes
whatever's going on there.
Makes it more cool. So the Frontierland Magician that we talked about a couple weeks ago, actually. So I went to the Magician personally with me and a group of friends, and I knew that the Magician was coming because, I do this show. My friends did it. And so this cast member has no name tag on. He's in like Frontierland attire. I guess you could consider him like a walk-around character. I think that's what they're going for. But he has no name tag, and he does like really small, like out of the pocket magic with cards, and he did one with rubber bands. I kind of picked up on how he does some of the tricks, so I don't know the quality of magician is there, but my friends were like, "Oh, is this just some random guest trying to practice his magic in the park?" So I had explained to them like what was going on, so it was a little odd. He is like walking around Frontierland, and he was on the Mark Twain. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Is he at least dressed in the period clothing that you would expect? Yeah. So
No, she said he's dressed in the Frontierland costume.
That's what I mean. Like, it's, but not like.
Sorry. Like period. Like he'd fit in Frontierland. Like he has a big jacket on with like a nice vest and everything.
Okay, so he looks. Yeah, he looks more like.
Kind of
pocket
emphasized.
Well, yeah, I was worried because I know a lot of the Frontierland outfits are more like rugged frontiersmen and woman type people, but I would expect a magician to be dressed more in like, a nice set of pleated pants and in the shiny vest and looking like he just came out of a poker game winning because he swindled them all for their money. Sometimes a mustache if you can afford it. Yeah.
I think they had a beard, or at least I saw two different ones. One of them had a beard.
Tom, did you get a side job? No.
That's why you were there this weekend.
That's it.
Okay. Next one. The mobile ordering we've been talking about for a while. You only get the buttons if you ask. I've been mobile ordering. I only mobile order, and I actually made a point to ask for the buttons, and you get it. So if you don't ask, they don't automatically.
Well, that explains why I didn't get any of them while I was there in Disneyland for that week.
I grabbed you a mint julep one though.
Yes. Thank you.
I was walking. Speaking of mobile order, I was walking by Tiki Juice Bar, and it looked like it was so busy on Saturday that they were forcing people to use mobile order. But the problem was there were 20 people standing in the walkway around Tiki Juice Bar on their phone, mobile ordering, and the cast member was like, "Please move aside to if you're getting mobile orders, please." So it's like, what's the point of doing that? Closing it and limiting it to mobile order if people are just going to stand outside and do it there, and then so it was weird.
And sometimes with mobile ordering, like especially at the Mint Julep Bar, there'll be the line for the register, but then there'll be a line for mobile ordering to pick it up. So like you can say I'm here, but you can't just be like, hey, I'm here, show them the order number. You're in a line and waiting your turn, which I'm like, this defeats the whole purpose of mobile ordering. So sometimes when it's super busy, that happens.
I was with some friends that were picking up a drink at the Hollywood Lounge, and there were like 30 people who had mobile ordered and were just standing there waiting for their order. And then once you got pinged that you was ready, then you had to wait in another line to go up and get it. But it really wasn't ready because once you got to the front of the line, then they poured your drink.
Yeah. That happened to me too, and I thought it was really weird because I was like, there was a separate line, and it was basically like you just have already paid, but I had to wait behind people and then walk up and be like, "Hi, my mobile order," and they're like, "Okay, what was?" And then they pour the beer then, and I'm like, "What the heck is the point of this?" And they only have one person being the attending person to that line. So I was like, okay. Would it have been faster just to have gone on the other line at this point?
Yeah, Tom, next time you're in town, we should try that out. Like pick like a busy spot and then like one of us goes in the standby and one of us mobile orders and see what happens, especially at Hollywood Lounge.
A race to the finish.
Right.
All right. Okay, next thing. Construction updates. There is a huge wall from one end of Main Street, or like the corner of Main Street where like the hub starts, all the way to Pixie Hollow, with like two openings at like Plaza Inn and Tomorrowland. And
you don't see the opening for Tomorrowland if you're coming down Main Street. You don't realize that because it's all the no-see green or whatever. You don't realize where that little. It's like, okay, you can't get to Tomorrowland, but it is there.
Yeah, the picture I sent in, you can't tell.
Yeah, I couldn't.
What it is.
I couldn't.
There is one like a little bit down there, but I'm like, this traffic area is going to get even worse over there because it gets so congested, especially during fireworks time where they're weeding you to Frontierland, Tomorrowland, back around, across the hub, and like, that's just going to be a nightmare.
It was busy this weekend, so.
I found out it was fall break for kids. Because I was there yesterday and I was like, why is it so busy? Like all the food lines were super long. I was like, is there something going on that I don't know about? But yeah, it's fall break.
Well, yeah, I mean, kids' lives are so difficult that after being in school for a month, they need that break. They need that long weekend. Life is tough.
Yeah. Teachers can have a break. Students should stay. I don't know. They should do something else. Also, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln is still open, just the outside is getting refurbished. So there's a big fake building. Is it facade or something? Scrim, that's the word. And then the designer ears, the Her Universe Disney designer ears, just came out. They're Princess Leia inspired, and they are $78. And you can also get your let's say cast member discounts, AV discounts, which is great, but you can see it at Disneyana, Fortuosity in Disneyland, Elias & Co. and Off the Page in California Adventure, and the Dress Shop in downtown Disney.
Did they have the $600 ears?
Yeah, they're there. And then someone did the math for me that if you use your AP discount, it only comes out to $428 for the $600 one. So that's a steal.
Those are the Heidi Klum ears, right?
Yeah, those are too much. Like that, I just thought a lot of my friends are like,
you wouldn't want to wear them.
Yeah, I'm like, what if like one of the crystals comes out? Like that's $20 right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Princess Leia ones look cute. And then lastly, there's a new Frozen 2 package at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique with the new costumes. The Elsa hairstyle that you would get is still the similar one to Elsa with her one braid. But then Anna they reflect her new hairstyle off of the new movie with the 2 braids kind of like coming together in the back. So you can do that at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique if you're interested in that. And those are all my updates.
Very cool. Tom, any extra ones from you?
Yeah, so Rhino, Mary Jo, and I got to try the pan dulce ice cream sandwich.
Oh, how was it?
I did a vlog on it. I don't know how well it'll come out, so just spoiler alert. Get in your car now, drive to Disneyland, go to Rancho del Zocalo, and order that thing because it's delicious.
Don't make him feel regrets. So that's...
We'll mail it to you, Rhino. Dry ice and...
Please. DHL that to me. I almost said a bad word right there. But
specific. DHL is your preferred carrier?
It's a bad word. Well, DHL does the food in like the 24 hours.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
I thought you just lie to everyone, whether it's the post office or FedEx or any of them.
DHL will do the packing it in ice and send it to you and stuff like that. That's how you can get it.
Oh, well, there you go. Morgan,
this is not a plug for DHL. We are not sponsored by DHL.
We are in no way financially affiliated.
This is not the Magic Candle Company.
But
we're just trying to get Rhino some ice cream.
Yeah.
It's while you have many choices for how you want to ship your goods around the world, DHL is one option. So excellent. So we'll look forward to that vlog when it's released. Is that a Halloween only snack, Tom?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you better get on that then. Get it to us so we can get it out there.
It's in Dropbox.
It's already in Dropbox?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't received a notification from you about it.
I'll text you later.
Okay. Text me later.
This feels weird.
Text me later. Yeah, this is... oh, man. Okay. Let's move on then, unless you have anything else.
No.
Okay. Fantastic. So we are going to move on to our featured part of this segment, and that is our review of the Springhill Suites. Like we said, the one at the convention center, or technically named the convention center one. And this is going to be I want to say, as a spoiler alert going into this, it's going to be mostly positive. Mostly.
Yeah.
There's a couple shady areas of this, but we'll get there as we get there. So let's talk about Springhill Suites. Of course, this is a Marriott resort. So if you are part of, the Marriott Bonvoy, their little circle, their cult that they have for getting points and stuff, then it could be something that you would want to look into there. But let's talk about the location from where you can expect to find the Springhill Suites. Rhino, where can you find it?
On top of CVS.
Yes. Well, the app descriptions, Rhino,
across the street from 7-Eleven.
Okay. Let's be a little bit more specific on this.
Across the street from Walgreens.
Very, very much doing this right. So the Springhill Suites that we're talking about is at the intersection of Harbor and Catella. So as any intersection there would be 4 different perspectives on it. And Rhino is correct that it is the one that is at the corner where the CVS is. So this would be, if you're on Harbor, you would want to be going south on Harbor to easily access the hotel. If you were going north, you would have to drive down and take a U-turn and get messy. If northbound's great for the next hotel that we'll talk about in our series of reviews, the Hyatt House. But for right now, we're just going to stick specifically to Springhill Suites. So what does this mean in terms of proximity to Disneyland? It is just south of Disneyland. Technically it's right across the street if you look at it from the aspect that Radiator Springs and Cars Land is just on the other side, as well as Pixar Pier and all that. But in actual reality, you're about a half a mile of a walk all the way down, all the way up, I should say in this case, all the way up Harbor Boulevard. And really you only have to cross over two distinct streets in order to get that. First, you have to cross over Catella, and then the next cross that you have to make is a much easier one, and that is basically where the Disney buses come in and out of. So usually you can get lucky at this intersection, and even if it doesn't give you the crosswalk, you can be bold, live on the edge, and you can cross anyways. Just don't get hit by a bus.
Yes.
Yeah, Rhino was very nervous.
Yes.
Like the first time we did it, like we don't have a crosswalk.
That bus sees us.
And then by like the third time, it was like, come on, just go. Just walk blindly. And here we go. So proximity wise, I'd say it's in a convenient location close to Disneyland. I don't think it's the best. I after staying on this side, I wasn't as run down as I felt before on trips going to and from Disneyland. After 7 days of walking that distance back and forth, it did start to get tiring. But
you mean to go the distance?
Yeah, to go the distance. But so it took really, I think it was after day 5 where it was starting to get annoying of being all the way down closer to the convention center. But it still wasn't too terrible.
It was better than the Hilton. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
better than that walk, I think.
Yeah, and of course, the Hilton is basically connected to the convention center. I mean, it is the convention center, so it's closer than the distance that it is to get to the Hilton, but it's also still accessible if you were going to a convention at the Anaheim Convention Center and you were looking at like the Springhill Suites for it. I think it's still a viable option if you don't want to stay at the Marriott there or the Hilton or the Sheraton or the Residence Inn that's all there in that area. Springhill Suites would still be close enough and you're on that side of the road, so it's very accessible, but also still decently close to get to Disneyland. But it's definitely not in that same realm of like being in the Hojo or the Fairfield Inn that's right across the street from like Space Mountain and such. Those are much easier walks during your time. Heck, even the Anaheim Hotel, which we despise, is a little bit better on the walking. But don't stay at that garbage hotel. It's a piece of junk.
Craig, one thing while you're talking about location, you mentioned the other Springhill Suites main gate. I think people need to be aware when they're looking at names of hotels that main gate may not necessarily be the closest to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yes.
That Springhill Suites is actually northwest of Disneyland, and there's really no place to walk from there to Disneyland Park. So when you're looking at the hotels, look at the map and know where the walking entrance to Disneyland is when you're making your decision.
Yep, and that is a great point because I know I've seen it a lot, especially not with Disneyland so much, but with the convention center, that when you see Disneyland, like Anaheim Convention Center on there, you think like, oh, it's close to the convention center. We're talking it can be a mile away, and it's still marked as convention center. So be aware of that with any of the hotels around Disneyland. Anytime I search like Anaheim hotels in the list, the first thing I do is switch over from a list view and go to the map view and start really pinpointing where I actually want to be at. Because if you just leave it up to that list view, it's going to tell you, well, you need to get this $70 rate at the Embassy Suites that happens to actually be all the way back at the John Wayne Airport. And it's like, well, that's really convenient to get to Disneyland. But anyway, so location proximity wise, it's great. Having the CVS right below is definitely a huge benefit if you're a type of person like us that even though we enjoy using reusable water bottles and such while we're in the parks, I also like to have water for the room. So instead of having to worry about carrying a big case of water or jugs of water from CVS or Walgreens to wherever hotel I'm staying in. It's so nice and convenient having one right below you. Anytime we forgot anything like not prescription drugs, but over the counter medications. Rhino, I think, needed some Advil or something along that line. Kylie needed sunscreen at one point. It's like everything's right there for you, right below you, and then for me, beer.
Yeah.
I go into my first stop usually anytime we go to Disneyland is I run into the CVS and I get a 12-pack for the room for at night.
The CVS for the one night. The CVS is has a nice variety of stuff too in it. I will say that it's like a very expansive CVS.
It really is.
If you need it.
Yeah. So let's talk about now the pricing with the Springhill Suites. I've seen it all over the place during busier times. It's usually up in the level around about $250 a night. Seen it for like $230 a night. They are suites. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about this hotel. So they have 1 king suites. They have 2 queen bed suites. They have kid suites with bunk beds. Family suite. So it is all on the suite level, but you can also score a really awesome room rate if you're flexible with your dates and looking around. For us, the 3 nights that we stayed there, I think it ended up averaging about $170 a night when all was said and done. I think the first night our rate was around like $150, and then a couple nights a little bit higher over the weekend dates. But and that's for a suite. I think $170 is an excellent price. It's very, very spacious rooms, but it was beyond just the rooms. One of the things that sold me when we booked this was that it said that there was actual complimentary breakfast every morning, and not a continental breakfast, a full complimentary breakfast. So right there, you have to start factoring in. If I would have walked to Disneyland and ate breakfast, I'm looking at $15 per person on that. So you can start chopping that off the cost of the room each night. So you can get a lot of value for this hotel. Like I said, it can be very expensive during busier times of the year. It can go up over 200 in the mid 200s, but like for us, we booked 3 weeks out, I think, and got an awesome rate on it. So just do some shopping around. Look at when you're traveling, and if you're flexible, you'll get a better rate. I mean, that's true of anything. But we'll go and start with the rooms before we talk about the hotel overall. And the rooms were definitely an interesting layout in a sense. So we had a 2 queen suite, and there was, when you first walked into the room, you basically walked into a little living room area where there was this massive L-shaped couch that I don't think we used a single point except to put our luggage on, and I stood on top of it to get a nice big wide shot of the entire room. But you had a couch, and then you had your desk set up so you could have working space if you needed it. And then my favorite thing was the TV that was above the desk for this little living room area. And basically because of that, every night I was able to work at the desk and watch TV at the same time while Rhino was watching Friends in the other room and getting confused sometime. Like, why do I hear 2 different things at once?
Yeah. Well, I like that the couch pulls out too, right?
Yes, the couch did pull out as well too, so you could get extra bodies in that room. I think it sleeps up to 6 total in the 2 queen rooms.
I don't know if I'd want to be in here with 6 adults, but it's nice if maybe like you've got the kids or whatever want to be on that side or something. I don't know, but I liked the separation. I liked that the bathroom was in the middle and the beds are on the other side.
Yeah, and the beds were in the other side in a separate room. It wasn't actually closed off with a door or anything. So it was basically one long room with the bathroom dividing most of it, and then a nice long vanity with charging points and your coffee set up on there, and your basic little pod coffee. Not talking about Keurig, but the little pouches that you throw in and heat your coffee up that way. And there was a refrigerator and everything you would expect from a suite. A microwave was in there as well too. And then the bedroom was very basic.
No, wait. No freezer though, right? Just a refrigerator.
There was a freezer in it.
In this one, there was a freezer?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Positive. Small freezer. Mini fridge.
Okay.
It's a miniature fridge. So, and then for the two queens, I mean, nothing really out of the ordinary. So you have your two beds, you have your dresser, TV on top of it, an armoire, and place to hang your clothes, and place for them to put the ironing board. Thank you. Struggled to figure out what an ironing board was called, and that was kind of it. So it was definitely upkept nice, in my opinion. So it wasn't the nicest and the most luxurious hotel room that I've ever been in, but it was definitely, it still had that new charm to it. And beds could have stood to be a little bit more comfortable, in my opinion. It's not like they were too firm or they were too soft. It was just kind of that, it kind of had that like feeling of like, okay, these beds have felt like they've been used for about 5 years solid, and maybe they're starting to get a little bit run down on there. But one of the things I loved the most about this room was there was plenty of charging ports everywhere. Like Rhino brought a power strip that we honestly really didn't even need for this room, because there was a charging spot anywhere you were going. So it was a comfortable room.
Yeah,
How was your view?
What?
How was your view?
We were looking out right above the entrance of the hotel, so we were just looking at the next hotel next door. It wasn't. We did not pay the extra money to have that luxurious Disneyland view, but I will say you'd have to be on the highest floor in order to have somewhat of a view. So the pool and fitness level are actually on the very top of the roof, and that had an okay view of the park. So really from this hotel, unless you're on the top floor, you're not going to have a great view of anything. So you might be better off, if you're thinking about this hotel, like, don't get your heart set on, I want this park's view. It's not really for that, in my opinion, on that. But any thoughts on the
No, I was just looking for a photo, because I thought I took a photo of the dresser that I'd have, because I just don't have it like right in my vicinity, and I just this guy just popped up real quick. But I thought the room's layout was good. Like, I enjoyed the space. I thought it was nice to have like the step aside area at for the couch and stuff, so you don't feel like you're just always like sitting on the edge of a bed or something like that. And the workstation was really nice. I thought the dresser was good. I believe there was 6 drawers in this dresser. Yeah, there were 2 sides of the dresser.
Yes. Because
I had put stuff in the top on the left. But and I am a person who does like to unpack their suitcase and put it into the drawers, because then I use my empty suitcase as like the dirty clothes go in there and stuff. So I felt like for 3 adults that we were the 2 of us, between us, like however many of us there are, can't count today, whatever, in the room, I thought there was enough space that if you were 3, 4, or I don't know, 5 might be pushing it, but 4 adults I think could have unpacked a suitcase and relatively kept their stuff to themselves. I thought the bathroom was pretty big. It's got one of those. I hate this trend in hotel rooms though, the barn door bathroom. I get that it looks cool, but I feel like it never closes. But I will say, this was definitely the best of those barn doors, because the lock actually did connect to the wall and the door could stay closed.
That being said, when we checked in, we had a bit of a cleanliness issue with our bathroom.
Yeah. I did not witness this. It happened while I was like,
I washed them down, but there was body hairs on the bottom of our shower that were not cleaned up and washed away. And, don't know what part of the body they came from. Have a couple ideas. And I'm not going to share them on this show because it's a family show. But yeah, it was gross. And then this problem didn't happen in the rest of the room, though. Or the rest of the room, the living area and the beds were all very clean. They were all put together. The bathroom, it felt like they started to rush at the end of the shift or something. Like, okay, we just got to get this. We got to get this turned over. We did check in at like 9:30 in the morning, and so I don't know if they felt like they needed to try to get a room ready for us a lot sooner. And went a little sloppy because of it, but there was a couple small issues with like hairs that were left over from the last person in the bathroom, and I'm not.
Just shaving themselves down for a quick swim on the roof, I guess.
Yeah, I'm the type of person where I'm like, okay, let me just run the water on it, and I'll rub a bar of soap on the ground or something, and then throw the soap away and call it a day. But
I shampoo the ground.
Other people are a bit more particular about it, so that definitely have to ding them on that. But overall, the room was comfortable and not too bad.
Yeah, I thought it was easy enough too. Our access to the room, getting to the lobby, like up into the room into the lobby, was no issue really. It was the hotel felt like whenever we were downstairs that it was full. It wasn't like there was nobody staying here. So I've sometimes that can be a struggle when you're in a hotel that requires you to take an elevator and stuff like that. I thought it was easy getting in and out.
Yeah, and there was times where we were on the second floor, so when we had elevators coming from the upper floors, you had to wait for, I think the max I waited for was 3 elevators until I was able to get on. But for the most part, it was always you got on right away. So kind of going off with that, let's talk about the lobby level of this hotel with the check-in. First off, you see the hotel pretty much from the street. That's where you're going to first see it. But the entrance to the hotel is actually in this alleyway, the same place where you can park for the CVS if you're going there. And it's basically in this little alley roundabout area where the Residence Inn check-in location that's right next door is all right there, and it's easy enough getting in and out of. But if you've never driven back that way before, if you're not comfortable with it, you're probably going to miss your turn in at least once or twice. But luckily, I've frequented that CVS before, so I knew how to get into the hotel. But because it does share this ground space with the CVS, one of the issues is it is a very tiny lobby. You walk in and you can see everything immediately. On your right is the work center that's set up where there's 2 computers and a printer, and that's your desk area. And then the small waiting area with tables or not tables, I apologize for that. The 1 coffee table and a couple couches.
Couches.
It is tiny. It is super tiny. Check-in desk only has enough room for like 2 people to stand, and that's about it. And right next to the check-in desk is where they have, the frozen snacks they can sell for the room, and
chips,
all your amenities, your little
bottles of wine.
Yes, stuff like that. So it's all just super tiny, and directly connected to the lobby is the dining area that is used for the breakfast, the complimentary breakfast in the morning, and
that's really it though, because most of the rest of the day it's got a curtain pulled over it.
Yeah, and so they don't use it except for first thing in the morning. And we kept seeing these signs for this bar that was supposedly at this hotel, lobby bar, that we never found the lobby bar. They don't have a lobby bar. I was being
tricked, lured somewhere, like a kid to a panel van with candy.
Yeah, and not to spoil it, but we actually frequented the lobby bar at the Hyatt House. So we are the type of people that we enjoy when there is a good lobby bar, and there was not one at this location. So, but the breakfast spot, I will say, it was massive. It definitely had enough room to hold all the breakfasters that were down there. That's the people who eat breakfast. Breakfast for me, while it was, we took advantage of it every single morning. The breakfast was just okay.
Yeah.
So it's, at the end of the day, it saved us money, and I will accept it for that. But we're talking they did not replace the food quick enough in a lot of cases. When the eggs started to get gross sitting out there, they let it sit for so long that no one would get them anymore, and then wouldn't replace it until they were finally gone. So the eggs they had there were gross. One day they had biscuits and gravy, and it was your standard hockey puck biscuits, or rock hard, and just a sausage gravy that looks kind of like vomit, to be quite honest with you.
They had it was so weird because the eggs area, they had additions with it, and there was spinach. And that was it.
Spinach, salsa, and sriracha.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so I thought, but also one day the spinach, I was like, this seems the spinach seems questionable at this point. But the other days it was fresh. It wasn't like, oh, it's bad. It was just very simple.
Yeah.
You know, like it was one of those where it's cool that it's there because you could come down and get like the breads, you know, the bagel, English muffin, whatever slice of bread. They had the refrigerator with the yogurts, and they had oatmeal and
but with me, every time I went to get oatmeal, there was no oatmeal in there.
Yeah.
It was all gone.
you got the big old spoon where you're like, I don't want what's left on the spoon.
Yeah.
The ladle.
The big selling point for the breakfast here, especially for families, which there were a lot there, and they took advantage of this. There was 3 waffle makers on a counter that made Mickey waffles, the mini Mickey waffles. And this was hugely popular. However, they needed someone there actually making the waffles because humans, I realized, don't know how to make waffles. They weren't. You would see the person who goes up and doesn't spray the waffle maker, and so they would pour all their batter in, and then they would spend another 10 minutes after the waffle was finished with its 2-minute cooking period scraping the waffle off because it didn't just magically cook right for it. So it was awesome to be able to have Mickey waffles in the hotel, but again, they needed a professional. Or anyone who knows how to make waffles, just doing it as a full-time position in the morning, it was not handled well as an, serve yourself. But like I said, breakfast to me was just okay. I ate there every morning, but there was at least one morning where I was like, I feel like I'm wasting my calories right now, and I could just wait till lunch. So. Good, not great. In terms of, I mentioned the pool and the fitness center, they're on the roof. The pool, it was limited. It was like 15 people were supposed to be in there at a time, right, Rhino? Or 10?
It was something. It was no. It might have been 20. It was. I think it was. It was 20 was the entire amount. But when we walked, it was definitely 20 because I was counting and I got up to like, oh, there are 17 people in here and that pool is full.
Yeah.
Like, I bet that's bath water right now. Like,
yeah, the pool was tiny and just.
I thought it was in a cute area though, like on the roof. It was definitely very tiny. I liked how it's set up though. Like it had like the greenery behind it with the big letters with the Edison bulbs in it and it said splash.
Yeah, it was a cool rooftop area where there was plenty of viewing for like fireworks at night, and you could have a good view of fireworks from up there, and just sitting, hanging out, relaxing in the little garden area they had, very nice. But the pool area itself was it was tiny. Like the pool had to have been maybe 20 by 8, something like that. It was not very wide, and it was long enough that people wouldn't be on top of each other, but it was not like, it's not the type of pool where you're like, oh, I'm going to base my vacation on taking a break in the afternoon and taking a dip. This was like, if I'm super hot and I really want to jump in the pool for a second, I'll do it. But I know that other bodies are going to touch me in there. It's going to be gross. But fitness center was awesome. It had just enough for what it needed. Treadmills, standard weights, everything like that. Beautiful view of Disneyland, or Disneyland Resort, mostly Disney California Adventure. But if it got busy up there, then it would be a little bit of a challenge. But otherwise, enough to make do while you're on vacation. So that's basically it. I know it doesn't seem like much for it, but this hotel was very, in terms of what they had there, it was very low key. So you had your rooms, you had your breakfast spot, a small mini lobby, and the small amenities on the roof like we talked about, and then just your location to Disneyland. That was it. So I would definitely stay here again, but it would not be my first choice by any means. I feel like if the price was right around what we paid for it, $160, it's definitely something to think about. But if you can get something that's similar to that cost, but a little bit closer to Disneyland, one of the better hotels over there, like the Hojo or any of those ones, I think that the Courtyard by Marriott that's right across the street as well, I think those are ones that I would probably choose over top of this. But it wasn't. It was a better than average hotel for sure for me. So not as good as the next one we're going to talk about, which I think the next one that we're going to talk about, I would consider a fantastic hotel.
I definitely enjoyed my experience. I would 100% stay there again. We stay in the Hilton quite a bit. The Hilton's great for when we do D23 and a convention related thing. No. This would definitely be this would be my choice of being like, I'd stay here for sure. I thought the room was incredibly spacious, especially for the price you're getting. I thought, the food is nice that it's down there. It would have been great if there was kind of access to that more than once a day and they utilized that space, but that's just a thing from a business standpoint. That's not and I like the location. I really don't have anything to knock it for. I felt like I was comfortable and I was like, okay, this is definitely somewhere on my checklist. If I go back and I am personally like taking other friends or something like that, this is one of the ones I would definitely look into.
There's just the slight cleanliness and then the lack of options. Around. Those are the lack of options for dining after breakfast.
Yes.
Those are my only two knocks.
And they did
they did have because they promoted on their website, they do have a coffee bean connected to the hotel. However, you can't get to it from inside the hotel. You have to walk outside the hotel to get to it.
Out and around a corner.
So be aware of that, but it is right there if you need better than just hotel coffee in the morning. You have to go out, walk around the coffee bean, and then get back in the hotel.
I'm somebody that when I go to the park during the day, I might not leave the hotel for like opening, but I'll go pretty early. But I probably will not come back till the end of the day. So this works for me. You just have to ask yourself, when do you think that you'll be visiting the hotel and what amenities do you expect from your hotel? Because my only ding would be that, like, don't tease me with a lobby bar sign if you don't have a lobby bar. But that's what I look for. But again, CVS was right there around the corner. Could have just grabbed a drink. Sometimes you just want to sit at a counter and talk to a stranger like a creep.
Exactly. So it definitely, I think you put it perfectly. If you're leave in the morning and not coming back till night, definitely a good hotel for that. Not a hotel. I don't know what a hotel is.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why I keep saying hotel.
It's Halloween, bro. I don't know if you mentioned it, but it did have the laundry facility too.
Oh yeah, it had a couple washing machines and dryers on the top floor as well. So that is available for you if you need to do your laundry in the middle of the time. And, it's got everything there that you can buy if you need it for it. So, but yeah, I like you said, it's right in that Hilton area. I'm over the Hilton. I think the Hilton is a complete dump. I wish we would have reviewed it after D23. I dislike this hotel. We only stay there out of necessity for needing its proximity to the convention center. But the rooms are gross and run down just nasty. The lobby bar is, it's okay, but
way overpriced.
It's overpriced. The restaurant there is overpriced. It really is for conventioners who are just there because their work sent them and they don't have to worry about paying a single dime for anything while they're gone.
It just has this vague sleaze feel about it too. Like it's not sleazy either, like when you walk in, but it's just maybe it's just we've been there so much and now I've noticed the stuff where like it feels dated.
Oh, it is dated. It's a convention hotel and it is sleazy. I've told the story. I don't know if on the show, but to people I meet that we in fact one time watched an escort sit in the lobby of the Hilton talking to this guy until they went up to the room later at night. And that was awkward. It was super awkward, but entertaining at the same time too. So I would definitely, if you're going to the convention center, I would recommend the Springhill Suites over the gross, nasty Hilton.
Well, I meant Hilton in relation that you literally walk out the door and it's right there.
But you said that hotel's fine. I disagree with that.
It's whatever.
No, it's gross.
I have low standards.
It's nasty. Yeah. Gross.
I've had to stay in a Red Roof Inn far too many times.
I would take some Red Roof Inn over the Hilton Anaheim, but that's for a different episode. And with that, we'll end this episode. So I know you guys have been quiet over there in California listening to us, but Tom wasn't able to join us for the first couple days, so that's why he wasn't staying with us at Springhill Suites. But he'll be in with us when we talk about Hyatt House. So I'm looking forward to that, and we will we'll get to that very soon in the future. But thank you so much to the California folk there.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. I know Morgan's
Speaking for
muted.
both of us, you're welcome.
What's that?
Speaking for both of us, you're welcome.
Yeah. Morgan had to mute her mic because the roofers are working on a roof right now, making noise. But
I don't believe her.
That's it. So we will see you again next week with another episode of the Diz Unplugged Disneyland edition. But until then, remember, as Tom Bell always says, Disneyland is more magical when you do something. I don't know.